Okay, guys, so we're gonna start a production. We're gonna do a production from start to finish. All right. The only assets that we have already, we just have the I have the characters pre-made, and I have already done the audio. Okay, so I have our script here. Okay, Girard, knock knock, Coco Boy, who's there? Girard, who? Coco Boy says, who? Then Girard says, he's an owl man. Okay, all right. So this is the dialogue that we're gonna use based on the script. All right. So I already have my audio file. All right. So I already have my audio file here. So what I'm going to do using Adobe Animate, this is the software that I'm going to use now. Using Adobe Animate, I am going to lay out my audio. So let me just put that to frame 100. All right. And then I am just going to drag my audio onto the scene here. Okay. So let me
Knock, knock. Who's there? Who? Who?
all right. So on frame 100 up to here. Okay. Now on default, all right, Adobe Animate, when it comes to the sound, there'll be sometimes you will not be hearing anything. Okay. Or you will be hearing your sound,
Knock, knock.
and then when you stop and you try to play it again, you won't be hearing anything. Okay.
Knock, knock.
The reason why this is happening is because, okay, your sound is set to event. It's synced to event. We need to sync this to our stream. Okay. So when you sync to stream,
Who's there?
you will be able to scrub while you're editing.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
Okay. On default as well, Adobe Animate will have the frame rate at 30 frames a second. Okay. So we're just going to use 12 frames a second. For our tutorial purposes, we're just going to use 12 frames a second. All right. If you notice at 12 frames a second, we are able to have the whole dialogue in that 100 frames because we're using less frames.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Who? Who? You's a owlman.
Okay. So this is the dialogue we are going to animate. All right. So what I like to do in my animation, especially with this short animation, is that I like to set the scene. Okay. So I would usually have, if this dialogue involves two characters, I'll have a long shot of the two characters there. So I'm going to my library. In our library, I only have one file here. That's the audio, Coco Boy and Girard, right? But I already have a file open with the two characters. So just let me paste these in here. Okay, so we have our folder, Coco Boy and Girard. All right. So I am going to use the 3/4 view of these two characters. All right. So let me drag Girard, Coco Boy, sorry, on this side here. Scale him up. That's what I love about vectors. And then I am going another layer, make sure it's on another layer. I am going to drag this guy in, Girard. Okay. All right. So he's too big. Let me just make him a little smaller. Okay. If you notice, he's not facing. They're having a conversation, but Girard is not facing Coco Boy. So just let me do some transforming here. I'm just gonna flip this guy horizontally. Okay. Great. All right. So we have 3 layers now. We have the sound. We have Coco Boy, and then we have Girard. So let me just good when you layer, when you label your layers properly, it prevents a lot of miscommunication. Okay, Gerard here, and we have Coco Boy here. All right, so you have these here. Okay, so what we're gonna do now, all right, I am going to lock my sound layer because the only thing I want on this layer is sound. Okay, so lock it up with this little padlock right here. All right, so let's start working on our characters. All right, as we can see here with Coco Boy, he's staring at, well, nothingness. He's not actually making eye contact with Gerard. Okay, so what do we do? Let me break this guy apart here. Right click, and then we just break him apart. If you notice, he's separated into different symbols. You have the head here, we have his body here. If you click on the body, you'll notice that in the body itself, we have symbols in his body as well. Okay, so we broke this apart, and then we have his head here. We're going to focus on the head now. Okay, for now. All right, so we need to tilt his head so that he's facing down. Okay, so now this hair, see this little white spot here? We drag it around. This would be your pivot. Okay, now if you notice, I will put the pivot right here, and if I try to rotate, see how it rotates on the pivot. That's not where I want to go. So I want to rotate around Gerard's Coco Boy's neck. So I will place that pivot point under his chin here. All right, so when I rotate, see what happens? His head would rotate, okay, on the top of the neck here. Bring the neck head a little lower down. Okay, you got that? All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to break, since I'm focusing on the head, let's zoom in on that. I'm going to just break this apart right here. Or a better way to do this, guys, I am going to put a layer on top of Coco Boy. And then I'm going to grab this guy's head. I'm going to cut out his head. Okay. And then I'm just going to paste in place on the top layer. Okay. So his head would be on a layer by itself. All right. So let me. Okay. Okay. Now, I can break this guy apart now. Break apart. Okay. Now, as he's broken apart, okay, I can actually move his pupil around his eye so that he could actually be watching. Let me turn my snapping off. Okay. So he'll be looking at okay, he'll be looking at Gerard. Okay, just let me play around with the eyebrows a little bit. Let's free transform this. Just tilt the eyes so that he won't look too. Okay, so he's looking at Gerard now. Okay, so we're gonna do the same with Gerard. All right, so let's focus on our friend Gerard now. Okay, we're gonna break him apart. Okay, his pose right now is kind of bothering me with the arm. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring his arm a little lower here, and okay, this here, and okay, turn this guy so, and bring his hand. Okay, looks more relaxed there. Okay, so his head, I'm just gonna cut out his head. All right, and place his head on another layer over the body. Let me just paste that in place. Okay, so now we have Coco Boy's head and Gerard's head. Gerard is talking to Coco Boy, so let me just break his head apart. This doesn't sound, okay. All right, so we're gonna have him looking at his friend. I took the, he looks kind of, kind of goofy right now. All right, yeah. Okay, so, okay. That can pass for now. Okay, we're gonna play with that after. All right, so, okay, you can see these guys are having a conversation now. They're making eye contact. Okay, so,
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
now we're noticing that there's some kind of freakiness going around there. We are going to address that, and we are going to address our characters one by one. Okay, so keep in mind, I didn't say that before. Keep in mind that this is one of my pipelines. This is one of my processes. Okay, I tend to take different approaches. All right, this is just one of them. All right, and if it works for you, fine, but feel free to use your own approach. At the end of the day, your customer would want the end product. They don't care how you do it, but all they want is the end product. Okay, so let's focus on Gerard. In fact, let's focus on Coco Boy now. All right, so Coco Boy's head. Okay, now we're just gonna focus on his speech. So let's create yet another layer. He's gonna cut out his mouth, cut that out, and put that on a layer by itself, on top of the head layer. Let me lock that head layer for now. Okay, so I'm gonna take that and just paste it in place on that head. So you have a layer with the mouth alone. Now in Animate, notice that every time I shift, his mouth is moving. They have different. Okay. Let me open that. Double click on this, and you will see a whole heap of symbols. Okay. So we have this one. We have this one will be the A. This one will be the E. This one will be the consonants, F and V, and L, and then we have the O. Okay, and this I just have as a neutral. Okay, so here these will be the smiling speech, and at the bottom here would be, okay, the kind of serious or angry or whatnot, not smiling. Okay, so these would be your symbols here. Well, they would be embedded in this symbol that I called Coco Boy Speech Comp. All right, so with Adobe Animate, there is this little thing called the frame picker. What the frame picker does, if you notice when I double click, I'll double click on this again. All these things inside of this symbol, the speech comp symbol, okay, are frames in here. So right now here, we have, how many frames? We have 17 frames. Now with the frame picker, let's go back on our scene. Once we click on a symbol and we go into the frame picker, voila, we are seeing all 17 frames on here. Now let me show you the beauty of picking your frames. Okay, so right now here, Coco Boy doesn't say anything. All right, now notice that every time we click on something that's not our mouth layer, the frame picker will disappear. Okay, now I'm on the correct layer. Okay, so Coco Boy doesn't say anything at first. All right, so I'm just gonna have him, he's gonna be serious. I'm gonna have him being serious. Okay, now if you notice, okay, he is serious here. So it will start off, your frames will start off from that. Okay, so they have it here on loop. Okay, I'm just gonna, you can choose whether or not you're gonna have this thing looping or you're just gonna use a single frame. Okay, I am going to just have it as a single frame. If you notice, when I
Knock, knock,
put it as a single frame,
knock, knock.
it just remains on that frame. Okay, so I prefer to work that way. So he doesn't say anything yet.
Knock, knock.
Okay, now he's starting to talk. So he's asking, who's there? So once we go on this here, we click where we want the mouth shape to be, and then who, and then who's there. So for the there, I'm going to have the TH. And I'm going to bring this guy a little lower. And then okay, so let's test this.
Knock, knock.
Let's test.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Okay.
Who's there?
Who?
Okay. So I'm satisfied with this. So let's go on to the. All right. So who's who? Who, and then who. Okay. Let's test it again.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
All right. Okay. Who. Okay, that's all he's going to be saying.
User Owlman.
Okay, when he say user Owlman,
User Owlman.
probably should just like he opens his mouth, or let me see this one. Nah. Okay, he's gonna open his mouth a bit and then he's just gonna close it back because he's in shock. He's like, oh my goodness, this is so dry, you know. Okay, so I'm just gonna put clenching his teeth, and then he's just gonna close his mouth right there. Okay, so let's see how that goes. All right, so let's see.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
Okay, it's an Owlman. I would probably put that a little further. Nah. Remove. All right, so let's see.
Owlman.
Okay, so we call it that. So that's. So let's start working. You see, animation is not only about. Okay, animation is not only about just the speech. Okay, it can work. It can work. Let's bring in our friend Girard. In fact, let's start. Let's just do Girard's dialogue one time. Right? Ta-ta. Let's work on our partner Girard. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this guy's mouth. Okay, and put his mouth on a layer by itself, like we did the same thing we did Coco Boy. Okay. Cool. All right. Our frame picker was already open, so we have this guy. We have all our symbols right here. All right. So
Knock.
I'm just gonna have him with his smile right here. All right. So I'm gonna pick this and make sure it's single frame. All right.
Knock.
Yeah. I see his eyes twitching there. We're gonna handle that. I think that's a little error I have on my okay, on my symbols and whatnot. But we're gonna take care of that. Our main focus right now is the mouth. Okay, so knock. So he's gonna start off with a n. Okay, knock. All right, so knock. Knock. Okay, so let's see how this goes.
Knock, knock.
Who's
All right.
Knock, knock.
who's
All right, let's do that again.
Knock, knock.
who's there?
Okay, so this eye here is kind of bothering me right now. So it looks freaky. So just let me correct this thing here. What's going on here? Yeah, this is what's happening here. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. Okay. So what I will do for that, okay, I will just use the frame picker on this. Okay. So if you notice on the frame picker, all right, I'm just gonna select this one and just single frame it. Okay, so we won't get that. Let me get rid of the frames there because I didn't. Okay. All right. This is a little better.
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Although I am also seeing a line. Let me. Ta 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 ta. Do I have a symbol on top of a symbol? I think that's the problem that I have there. I think I have a symbol on top of a symbol here. Okay. All right. This is what happened. All right. So
Knock, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who is knock,
okay. Good.
knock,
Knock knock.
knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who,
Okay. So who? All right. So
knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who,
Who?
eh,
all right. So he said EE. So like he's gonna have like a serious EE. All right. So we're gonna start being serious from here. Okay. And then the EE. E. EE. So his mouth can be open when he says the EE because he doesn't have to open and close, you know. So I'm just gonna have just a little EE. And then he's gonna close his mouth right here. EE. And then in the middle here he will smile. He will smile. Okay. Use a owlman. You is he's smiling, huh? He's smiling on that. You is owlman. Owl. All right. Owl. So you have some L. Use a owl. And then from that, man. Oh, I'm gonna use that instead. Okay. All right. Okay, and then okay, he's gonna laugh a little. All right, so let's get a little one. One, two, bring that up. And another one again here. And just close his mouth right here. All right, so let's see how this will look in a long shot.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay, so I don't like what's happening with Coco Boy's mouth here. So I'll just keep his mouth closed. Okay. The expression would be in his eyes. All right. So let's see what happens. Let's go back to our friend Coco Boy. All right. So
Knock knock.
Who's there?
okay, so I want to have some squinting going on in his eyes. All right. So if you notice on the frame picker, you did notice that his eye was blinking automatically. Okay. That's because, okay, I had several frames within the symbol. All right. And I think that his eyes are blinking too slowly. All right. So I'm just going to remove some frames in between. Yeah, the blinks are kind of slow. I don't like it. Remove that and remove this. Okay, let's see how that goes. I could still remove one. Okay, well this can pass. Okay. All right. So if you notice here, we have on our eye here. Okay, we could actually pick some. Okay, so like on this one here,
Who's there?
on the who's there, we could actually have his eye. You know what? Well, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna have. Let me see. The parts that we are going to manipulate are the eyebrows and the eyes. I call them the eyelids. All right, these are the parts we're going to manipulate. Okay, so on here, the frame picker for hair, you have to select on the eye alone. All right, I'm going to just, okay. So he has this unimpressed look, you know.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Okay, it was set to, I'm going to keep it as single frame. Okay, so who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay, and on this one here, not insert keyframe, that this is the, okay. On this one here, I'm just gonna open up his eye. All right, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to make him roll his eye. So because of time constraints, I won't do the actual animation of it. I will just bring it up like this. No, I didn't. Not your nose, Coco Boy. Here. All right. Okay, and then I'm just gonna raise the eyebrows up a bit. So Pana just like roll his eyes there, like, oh Lord, again. All right.
A owlman.
You have a piece of eye coming on the top there. Just bring this guy a little lower. All right, so. All right.
He's a owlman.
Okay. Now I could decide, okay, here, I could probably have his mouth opening from like here. and then I clench it from oh Lord. Oh gosh. All right. So let's see what happens here.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay. All right. So with this, let's start working on Girard. Okay, so he's starting off with the little squint.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Okay, so I would have him opening his eyes now here. So let's go back on our squint. Remember, our squint was freaking out all over the place. All right, so for our frame picker, I'm going to have him here and the other one. Interesting. If I were to delete this. Oh, my Girard character wasn't. I'm missing another frame for this here. So I'm just gonna keep. I'll keep him squinting. All right.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay. So we have the head, the two heads. All right. Now here's the trick. Well, this is for Adobe Animate users, right? So what I do, this would be, let me see, this would be Coco Boy's head, okay, with the mouth. What I would do, I would just highlight everything here. And cut the frames. Okay. And I am going to create a new symbol. Make sure it's a graphic symbol. I'm going to call it speech head. Coco Boy. All right. And I'm just going to paste this guy here. Okay. So you just have a head. Yeah. So when we go back to our scene, we can actually place the speech head, boom, right here on Coco Boy. And every single aspect of the speech head will be on the scene.
Knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Okay, and when you double click on that, you will see all our elements still. Okay, it actually makes our work neater because now we are one frame less. So you can actually delete this obsolete frame right here. Okay, and also we can also animate our head. So let's see what happens.
Knock.
Who's
Okay, so when he says who's there, he can actually put a keyframe there. What am I doing? I am on the wrong layer. This is why I will lock 1, 2. You locked. Okay. This is why I lock my layers. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
So under who's there. Okay. I am going to just make his head come down a little. I'm going to create that motion thing, twin. I'm going to actually create a classic twin instead. Okay.
Who's there?
Okay, so his head is bobbing.
Who's
there?
Who?
Okay.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay, we can when he's rolling his eyes, his head can actually go back a bit. So bring that back and then create that classic twin here. And then
Owlman.
did it move? Okay, I didn't tilt his head back. Okay, all right, great. Oh my goodness, I have this guy on the wrong layer. I have it on the wrong layer. Insert keyframe. All right. And I need to do a lot of undoing right now because I would find myself in problems. Okay. So his head was down. So back here. Bring it up. Turn. All right. Classic tween. Okay, so
User Owlman.
all right. So
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
okay. So with Girad stretch. Yeah. With Girad here, okay? So we can actually do similar stuff to Girad. What we're going to do here, I am going to just copy his head and the mouth. Okay. And then I'm going to create that new symbol. I'm going to call it speech. Girad head. All right. I'm just going to paste the frames in. And let's just drop this guy's head back on his body. All right. And put that pivot right here on his neck. And I'm going to get rid of that obsolete layer right here. So let's see what happens.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Okay, for the who, I'm just going to have him tilting his head a bit. No, that's his body. Always on the wrong layer. Okay. Okay. Classic, okay.
Who?
Who?
User.
Okay, so he'll put his head like back in position on the user Owlman. Okay.
Knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
All right, so we have this here. Okay, so if you have to test our scene.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman. Knock knock.
Okay,
Who's
so it will loop for you when you test in the scene. It will loop for you. Okay, so I want to see some hand gestures. So I'm gonna just put one hand gesture because of time and so on. I'm gonna put one hand gesture here. So when
Who's there?
Who?
So when Girad says who, I'm gonna have him pointing his finger up like who. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to insert a keyframe here. All right. And it'll just be done quickly. I'm not going to animate it. It's just going to be done quickly. But you guys will get the point. Okay, so with this hand here, I think I have a symbol if I go into the frame picker. Yes, I do. So I should have a symbol for his hand pointing. Ah, perfect. Okay, I should have a symbol for that. Okay, so when he says knock knock,
Who's there?
Who?
okay, so when he says who, his hand is already up. Now we can animate that as well using frame by frame, so we can actually put the hand symbols on layers by themselves and actually animate it. But because of time, okay, we're just gonna use that one flash kind of look, right? Okay, so let me just copy this frame and paste it right back there. Paste, perfect.
Who? User Owlman.
Okay, so we have this here. So let's look at this whole
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
Okay, so we have that hand gesture here. Now, there's just one more thing that I usually do to give them a little life, you know. So that they won't be stiff when they move. What I do, let me just take Gerard's Coco Boy's character. Ay. Cut it. And I am going to do it. I am going to put in a new symbol. Okay, I'm just gonna call it Coco Boy Hole. All right. And I am going to paste our frames in here, in that symbol. So on Coco Boy Hole, Coco Boy Hole here, I'm just gonna drag him back on the scene. And if you notice, we have an obsolete frame. Just delete it's not frame, sorry, layer. Just delete that. Okay, and we will do the same with Gerard. Cut our frames, create a new symbol, call that Gerard Hole. All right, and then we're just gonna add Gerard Hole on our scene here. And where did Gerard Hole go? I do not know. Did I paste Gerard? Did I paste this guy on his scene? Did I? No, I didn't. All right. Now I should be able to put him on his scene. Perfect. All right. So in that way, we could position our talent wherever we want because the symbols are already there.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
All right. Now, what I usually do as well,
Knock.
I will make them bounce a little. So I will take let me zoom in on this. So I would take my pivot and put it at the bottom here, this one here. So when you can stretch like this, okay? So
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
on the who, he could bounce a little. So let me put a keyframe here and then add another one here and another one here. And then I could make him come down a bit. And then I'm going to add in that create classic tween and he's going to bounce a bit.
Who?
See? There's a little bounce.
Who? User Owl.
And we're just going to add that little bounce on when he tilts his head. All right, so we're just gonna have that little bounce again. Yeah. Okay. So.
Knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
User Owlman.
Okay. All right. So, what we can do as well,
Knock.
Who's there?
we could add just this little bounce to a slight bounce to
Who's there?
to Coco Boy, sorry.
Who's
Okay, right in this point here.
there? Who's
All right, so it's gonna note to self, in fact, note to you. when you're doing this, taking this approach, make sure you have the pivot point. Okay, you select the pivot point and place it where you're going to be transforming before you put in your keyframes. Okay, if you don't do it that way, you'll end up in a lot of problems. Okay, so I'm just going to make this guy just do one bounce. Bring it down a little. And okay, so
Who's there?
Who?
all right.
Who?
You's a owlman.
All right, so let's look at our whole scene.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay.
Knock, knock.
There is
Who's
more
there?
we can add to this. Okay, but because of class, okay, the time constraints, I will not add any more to it. All right, but yes, what I will do, I will add a simple background. Just we have some grass, and then we can just have blue for the sky. Simple. I don't like this blue. I'm not getting the blue I want, so let's go into our color picker. All right, okay, so we have this here. All right, simple. All right, so what you're gonna do, this is where it begins to get a little, let's just say a little exciting, okay? Because right now we're gonna just play around with our shots, because right now we're just seeing these two guys talking with one camera. All right, but we're gonna, although Adobe Animate has a camera feature as well, for some of you who don't have you have different versions of Animate, I'm just gonna do it the long way. All right, in the way that I'm going to just have everything, background and characters, being one symbol. Cut the frames here. I'm just gonna call it everything. I'm just gonna place it here. Paste your frames. Everything. And then let's go back to this empty frame. And then we're just gonna paste our everything on the scene. Okay, so this is our everything.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
You's a owlman.
Okay, so let's do some close-ups and let's do some long shots and whatnot. Okay, so pardon the background noise.
Knock, knock.
So long shot,
Knock, knock.
we're gonna have a close-up on Coco Boy. What you're gonna do is just zoom in. Well, zoom in on Coco Boy here. All right. Okay. So
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who?
So what we can do from this here, who, and then we're just gonna zoom in on this guy here.
Who?
Okay, so you're gonna come back here, bring him back here.
You's
Okay, so while he's saying AA, we could actually have the camera zoom in on insert that keyframe here. You could actually have the camera moving on to Girard. Right, and then we're just gonna create that classic tween here.
Use a owlman.
Okay, and then we have our, let's just zoom right back out so that we can see. All right, Coco Boy's reaction. So let's test our scene.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
Use a owlman.
Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
Use a owlman. Knock knock.
All right. So basically, that's we can do a little more. We can add some more motion to our characters. Okay, but this is just a little. I just wanted to show you how you can add to your character. It's not only about making their mouth move so that they can speak. Nah, it's not about that. All right. It's all about the acting of it, making your characters come out and alive with. Sorry, it's about my redundancy, but making your character have character. All right. So let's just run this one more time. Okay.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who?
Who?
Use a owlman.
Okay. And we can export it, and then whatever format that we want, we can export it and probably post on social media and whatnot. I know I'm going to post it on social media. All right. Okay. With this being said, I hope this helps you guys out. Okay. Like I said, it's all about acting. It's all about acting. The eyes. Okay. We can play around the eyebrows and so on. It's not only about the mouth moving. All right. I hope this helps, guys. Later.